Hello everyone. Okay, so in this video I'm going to show you that how can you list all this folder and subfolder from a drive or a folder. Okay, so for example, if I go to this PC and then drive T, then there is 3 folder. So if I click this download, there is some folders and some file, but we are only interested to the folder part. Okay, so if I give this as a parameter or source folder path, then it will list all those subfolder within this folder. Okay, so it will go to this one, it will go to this one, or it will go to this one, it will enlist this. So it's a nested folder list. Okay, and like this. So let me show you the result first. Okay, and so get folder list, you just need to click this button. It will open a selection window, so you just need to select that. So for example, if I want to go to this and then maybe D drive, maybe let's suppose downloads. If I select this, so it's saying that's already is done, so it all enlisted all those folder within this section. Okay, so let me check if it's do it exactly what it should do. So now if I go to this download, so there is 18 plus and add-ons, Bala, Bang Bang, JavaScript and so on. Okay, so in within add-on there is 2 folder, Excel file and Word template. So if I go to this section, so you can see add-on, Excel file or template. So it's go to that folder and then it's shift to the next folder. Okay, and so on. So you can see this. So this one for selecting of the folder, and this is the folder path. Okay, so for example, if I copy down this and let's copy this, and if I go to this and just paste this, now you can see this that I am in this or template. Okay, you just need to just select the folder. Let's select this or copy this, go to this section, just paste it. Now you can see this that it's go to that specific folder. So we are just interested to this folder, not the file. So this is the final output, and I'm going to explain the coding part. And you can see this that there is another button that is called rename list. Okay, and now you can rename your folder if you want. So you need to add the new folder name, and then you can click this and it will rename all the folders. Okay, so basically this is the final output. Let me explain the code. So basically list, so this is the call folder lister. Okay, so at the beginning of this there are 2 variable. One is called all folder as a collection, so you can see this comment. So this is for holding all the file, sorry, folder name. It would be folder name. And private counter, so how many folder is there. So I use this to count how many folder is there. So for creating a unique identifier, maybe we can use this unique identifier when we are going to add the folder in this collection list. Okay, and call folder lister, so this is basically linked to this shape. So if I show you that assign macro is linked to this call folder lister. Okay, so this is linked to that specific set. So we are doing this with set3. You can see this is the set3 or rename folders, so set3. And at the beginning we are just setting this variable, or we are just instancing this object. So set all folder is new collections. and dim file explorer as file dialog. So when we're clicking this button, we are seeing this selection option. So for this we need to do this file explorer as file dialog, and then set file explorer. So application.file dialog folder picker. So this is for folder picking. If you want to use instead of folder, then you can see this. There are some options: file picker, folder picker, file dialog open, save as. So we are using this folder picker. So that's it. And with file explorer, so we are just setting this variable. Then with file explorer, we don't allow multi-select, we are allowing only one select options. And if so is equals to -1, so that means that you didn't cancel the selection options. So for example, if I click this and just I cancel it, okay, let me step through the code, then it will be a bit easy to understand the code. So now you can see this, that show. So it's show up, and if I cancel this, now you can see this, that show is not equals to -1, because you cancel it. Show equals to -1, that means you select a file, sorry, a folder. But if you cancel this, then it will go to this one. So dot source value exactly. So basically dot show equals to -1, that means you select a folder. If dot show is not equals to -1, that means you didn't select any folder path. So it will exit this sub. Okay, so let me step through again. So if I select anything, now I can see, let's suppose if I select tutorials, and then it's select this one. So now we can see the source file path. So this is the selected item. So actually this is the selected Excel, that was tutorials. Okay, and tutorials and shift 3 cells. So you can see the source file path. So we are just updating the sheet, this parameter this cells value. So it's C2. So that's why we are using that C2 sheet3 dot cells 23. You can specify the dot value. We are updating this, and then uh, exiting this if statement. Now we are calling this main original folder lister sub. Okay, so called list subfolders. So basically this is the main code, or what is listing all this folder. So if I explain this, so dim object fso as object. So you can see this, that's for file system object reference. We're using this as an object because we are using late binding instead of early binding. If you want, then you can use early binding, but then you need to go to this tool options, references, and set this scripting.file system object. So that's why I'm using this late binding. So when I'll set this code, no one need to set this by going to tools and references. Okay, so we are setting this object variable. So set object fso, so create object scripting.file system object. So we are using this DLL, or dynamic linked library. Then object folder, so object fso dot get folder. So we are getting that folder, so parent folder. So let me create. So we are getting this folder d slash tutorials in this object folder variable. Okay, an object subfolder as an object. We are using this to enlist all those subfolders. So it's for running a loop. So for each object subfolder, so we are using this object subfolder for this loop. So we are saying that within this folder, for each of this subfolder within this folder, we are running this loop. So for each object subfolder in object folder dot subfolder. You can see this. So we are running loop for all subfolder. So counter, we are updating this value, so counter plus 1, and then this was our collection from this, so we are just adding this subfolder to our collection. So adding, and you can see this is the item and this is the key. So key is that counter and it's a long type or integer type data, so we need to use this cstr, so it's convert this type to a long type to a string. If it's return any error, then we'll uh, execute the next line. Okay, so on error regime next, and current folder subfolder count. So our current folders is this objects subfolder, so we are counting this, that within this subfolder how many subfolder is there. So object subfolder dot count subfolder. So basically our subfolder is this d and then colon slash tutorial and cutting stock problem. So if I just copy this, if I have this, okay, let me go. So D, then tutorials and cutting stock problem, the first one. So I don't have any folder, so it will show up that its value is 0. Okay, so current subfolder is 0. So if error number is not 0, then we will just clear clear that error. Okay, and then else current folder subfolder count is greater than 0. If its count is greater than 0, so that means it has some nested subfolder. Then we are running this sub recursively. Okay, and then we are passing this subfolder as a parent folder, and we are running this again and again. So it's a recursive form, recursive method or sub. So object subfolder dot path. So it's take this parameter. Okay, in this case it's 0, so we are not running this. And then we are going to next object subfolder. So within this object folder, and that was the tutorials. Okay, so again same things, and it's just okay. Now we can see this, that we are calling this subfolder and this parent folder is data masking. So let me show you that it's data masking as some folder. Now you can see this is script and skinning, so it has two subfolder. That's why it's calling this folder recursively. Now it's saying that data masking, and the next time it will ask for this. This will show this script has a folder and screen has a folder. If we have any nested folder within this script, then it will call again. So skin, it will call this remix again. Okay, so and this add this and counters current subfolder count is 0, so it will not call recursively. And next folder was that skins, it will call the function again recursively. Yes, so in this way it will list all those subfolder. Okay, and it will get back to this places that call original subfolder lister. So let me put a okay, so it's done. Okay, so after calling this, we are just populating this all folder collections variables, and then we are using another loop to just clear the recycle bins or temporary folder list. Okay, so basically we are just finding this last row, so we are just finding this last row, so in this case 40, because we need to clear this up before adding the new data. So last row is dot cells rows dot count, see, and last row is greater than 4, then we're just clearing content. And because we are checking if it's greater than 4 because it's start from the 5th row. Okay, and all data from collection to sheet. So before pasting this data, we need to check if it's from recycle bin or if it's from temporary folder list. Okay, so for each element in all folder, for this correction, we are running a loop for all the element, and we are checking that if it's from recycle bin, and we are using text compare because we don't we want to ignore the case. Okay, or case sensitivity. So if it's equals 0, that means it doesn't find this text within this element names or folder name, then we are just pasting this value at elements. You can see this is an array. Okay, so it has two elements. One is for the folder name and the next one is the folder path. So we are adding this by using array. So array object folder dot name and object subfolder dot path, object subfolder dot name and object subfolder dot path. Okay, and then we are just adding this, setting the next setting the variable to +1 to refer to the next row and show 1, and then we are just updating this, and we are showing this message after all things so user can understand that all these codes running properly. Okay, let me test it again. So for example, if we select, so now if I select Excel file, now you can see that the d/excel file doesn't have any folder. So let me show you that Excel file doesn't have any folder, so that's blank. Let me do one more test, and let me clear something that if your folder have a lot of nested folder, for example, if I put this as a C drive, okay, so in the C drive, if I select this, then it will take a lot of time, maybe 10 minutes to enlist all of those subfolder because it's a nested folder. In my computer, maybe it has almost 100k nested folder, so that's why it will take some time. So be sure about that if you want to get the folder of this C drive or the drive which have a lot of folder nested within this. Okay, I'm just cancelling this because I don't want to wait for 10 minutes to restart this program. So that's it, and for the rename list you can use your name function which is available in VBA, and you don't need to set any DLL for that, it's by default. Okay, so let me test it again for a simple folder. If I select D, maybe download, now you can see this folder, this folder listed, and this is done. So it is a little simply 11 folder, so it's quick. So if I select D, let's suppose D, then I can see. Okay, do one more test. See, maybe I just want to know user and maybe and just know the public, and it is first. Okay,